Welcome to the Art of Mindful Living. Hi, Tejo.
Hi, and welcome to the Art of Mindful Living.
So, we are discussing couplets 24 and 25 of chapter 3 today, Tejo.
Yeah.
First, let us discuss couplet 24. Here it goes.
உரனென்னும் தோட்டியான் ஓரைந்தும் காப்பான் வரனென்னும் வைப்பிற்கோர் வித்தது. He who fences in the five senses by the strength of his mind and knowledge will be a seed in the world of heaven.
He who fences in the five senses by the strength of his mind and knowledge will be the seed in the world of heaven.
Yeah, Tejo. In this couplet, Thiruvalluvar compares our five senses the skin, eyes, nose, tongue, and ears, all our five sense organs, and the desires we have to enjoy through our sense organs or like an elephant. He says our sense organs are like an elephant.
Yeah.
Why do you think he compares our sense organs with an elephant?
Well, I honestly think because an elephant is a very demanding animal and it requires large quantities of food. And no matter how much we give it, it keeps asking for more.
Yeah, exactly, Teju. Elephants have a huge appetite, right?
Yeah.
They're voracious feeders. Similarly, our sense organs are also like voracious feeders. Like if you keep feeding them, they keep asking for more and more. Yeah?
Yeah.
Say, for instance, when we get to taste some delicious food, we can't stop eating, right? We want more and more of that tasty food.
Yeah.
And also, when you watch something interesting on TV or Netflix, and I ask you to stop, and you say, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, so many times, right?
Yeah.
Until I raise my voice. Yeah?
It's the same when I smell something. My mind says I want to smell that aroma more and more, and I don't stop, and I just keep smelling it.
Yeah.
Also, when I sit on a comfy cushion or a comfortable bed,
Yeah.
I want to keep sitting on it, and I keep craving to sit on it, and I don't get off.
Yeah. Yeah. When we don't try to control our mind or keep our senses under our control, we fall prey to them, right?
Yeah.
So, in this couplet, Thiruvalluvar says, Mahout is a person who trains, manages, and controls the elephants with the help of a tool called elephant goads. Elephant goad is a small stout pole with
Yeah.
a sharp metal hook at one end. So, Mahouts use these tools to control the elephants by applying pressure on the sensitive areas of an elephant.
Yeah.
Similarly, a person who trains, handles, and manages all his sense organs and keeps them under his control by the strength of his mind, wisdom, and knowledge is a supreme soul. He's a divine soul.
Yeah.
He is like a seed in the heaven, meaning he is not a very ordinary human being. He is a very rare and exceptional soul.
Yeah.
So Thiruvalluvar is basically trying to say that like a mahout controls and trains an elephant, we should be able to control our sense organs with the strength of the mind. We cannot control our sense organs by the physical strength, right?
Yeah.
We need to control them by mastering the mind with the use of knowledge and wisdom. So again, here in this couplet, he's talking about the greatness of the ascetic by saying that they are the seed in the heaven, meaning they are very rare and exceptional souls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let us move on to couplet 25. Here it goes.
ஐந்தவித்தான் ஆற்றல் அகல் விசும்புளார் கோமான் இந்திரனே சாலும் கரி. Indra, the king of the heaven, is himself a sufficient proof of the strength of him who has subdued his five senses.
Indra, the king of heaven, is himself a sufficient proof of the strength of him who has subdued his five senses.
Yeah, Teju, in this couplet, Thiruvalluvar mentions Indra's name here.
Yeah.
You know, in our scriptures, we have come across Indra so many times, right?
Yeah.
Indra is the king of heavens.
Yeah.
So, in order to understand this couplet, we need to say a story here, Teju. There was a girl by name Ahalya. She was a very beautiful and smart girl. So, all the kings and celestial beings, everybody wanted to marry her.
Yeah.
And Indra was also one among them. But finally, Ahalya's father decided to get her married to a sage by name Gautama.
Okay.
So she got married to Gautama and she went to live with him in his abode. It's a very simple abode by a riverside.
Yeah.
But Indra couldn't take it. He got so jealous he somehow wanted to go meet Ahalya when the sage was away. So he was making plans for it. One day, when Gautama was away in the morning to do his morning prayers and rituals by the riverside, he took the form of Gautama himself and went to his abode. But Gautama, the sage, when he was sitting by the river, realized it was not dawn yet. He returned to his abode. When he was returning, he saw Indra coming out of his abode in the form of a cat. Because he was a sage, he could understand what had happened actually, and he got so angry, and he cursed Indra for that, for having inappropriate desires, and and also for entering his abode when he was away.
Yeah.
So Thiruvalluvar is trying to say that even if you are a king of kings or a god of gods and you come from heavens, if you are not able to master your mind and control and manage your senses and desires, you are nothing. You get degraded to a level of an animal. But even if you are a very simple sage living on this earth who has mastered your mind and controlled your senses, you are greater than a king of kings and god of
Yeah.
gods. Because Indra couldn't control his senses and he was feeding his inappropriate desires, he had to bow down and accept the curse of sage Gautama.
Mm.
So, again and again, Thiruvalluvar is trying to emphasize that an ascetic who has renounced all his desires and worldly pleasures for the realization of the supreme truth is the greatest of all. He's greater than the King of Kings and God of Gods.
Yeah.
That's what we need to understand here, Teju.
Okay.
So, with that note, we are signing off. Thank you so much for watching and listening. See you all in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.